React to scary videos, bro. It's been 5 months. Where you at? I want to be scared. Did you give up? Dead series. He abandoned us. Unsubscribe. I hate this guy, man.
So we're back with this, I guess. I know it has been a while since we reacted to scary stuff together. I really have no excuse for it, but I'm doing it now. You'll already know how this series goes down. We react to 3 videos in this one video. Today we're going to be reacting to llama art videos. If you all want, you can go into the Discord in the description. Send me some videos there. But anyways, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications while you're at it. And on to the first video, lads. A bus stop horror story. Oh,
this
bus
happened
stop.
when I was 17 years old.
Whoa, hang on, this is loud. Give us a sec.
I would go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week and ride the bus home. It was a Sunday and I had just missed my bus, so I had to wait longer for another one.
He goes to the gym.
I would have called my parents,
So,
but they were out for
he
the
can't
evening,
get bodied.
and taxis charged more, so I decided to sit and wait in the bus shelter. It was a cold night and snow had just started peppering the ground. My bus was taking longer than usual, so I got my phone out and listened to some music. Almost an hour had passed. It was freezing and I hadn't seen anyone at all. That was until I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. It was a creepy guy dressed in thick layers of clothing, walking slowly towards me. I knew staring at him would draw more attention, so I just
Body him
focused on
before
my
anything
phone.
happens.
He sat down at the other end of the shelter and just stared at me. There was something off about him. He seemed like he was
Look at his
either
dirty
drunk or on
socks.
drugs. He then asked,
"When is the bus due?"
I took out my earphones and said,
I think it's delayed because of the snow.
He stared at me for a while, then started mumbling to himself.
Oh, he's on
It's
something.
really starting to creep me out, so
He's
I
on
pretended
something.
to be on my phone. After a couple of minutes, I took
Whoa,
another
you'll
look.
recognize the background music?
He moved closer to me.
It's what I add in my
I looked away
videos.
for a second.
I'm not adding this in.
The sound of him sliding even closer. I turned
Oh
to
yeah,
him
get
and
ready.
said,
You okay there?
he stared at me with glossy eyes, lifted his arm and leaned towards me. Immediately, I grabbed my bag and ran as he fell to the
How did you
ground.
fall like that?
I ran down the road trying my hardest not to look back. I kept going until I got to the next bus stop.
Bro, body him.
I turned around to check to see if he was there. He was gone, so I went to sit down. Feeling relieved, I rested my head on the back of the glass and waited for the bus.
That's a good idea. No, that's not a good idea. You're gonna wake up in his...
I jolted and turned around to see the same guy staring
Yeah, he wouldn't
at
have
me
a
through
car,
the
he can't wake
glass.
up in his car.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Then he started walking around the shelter towards me.
What the
I'm
hell?
warning you, stay back.
I yelled in panic.
Lay him
as I was
out.
Backing up. I wanted to run, but I left my bag in the shelter and I couldn't leave without it. Suddenly, the man leaped at me and I quickly moved out of the way. He fell to the ground face first.
Knocked himself
I
out.
froze in shock, then noticed the blood coming from his face. I tried to get a response out of him, but nothing worked. I called the police and paramedics and they arrived shortly after.
What the hell?
I told them what had happened and they told me that the guy was on prescription drugs. They found a photo in his wallet of him and his son. The boy looked just like me, so we assumed he thought I was him. I later learned that he had lost his son in a custody battle and went off the rails. He was taken away for treatment, and that was the last I saw of him. I got my driver's license shortly after, and have never been on a bus since.
Oh, I just seen him in the back. You'll see that.
Never been on a bus since.
Right there. Alright, that story was okay. That seemed like a real story that actually happened. I'd say that'd be scary in the moment kind of story, but watching it, it's not that scary. I'm gonna rate it about a 4. I know. Hopefully the next one will be better though. Hopefully.
This video is sponsored by
Yeah, we're not doing that. The Roommate. This story's called The Roommate.
Is always a daunting task. Even though you interview and take the time to get to know that person, you don't truly find out who they are until you start living with them. I had begun searching for a roommate after I decided to leave my current
Random
residency.
person in the back
I
there.
was contacted a couple of hours after placing an ad on the Facebook Marketplace. The message read,
Hey Chris, I'll be moving out of my current apartment this August, and I'm looking to room with someone new, as my roommates are moving to California this year. I'm 27 and I'm currently going to school. When I'm not at school, I enjoy hiking and watching movies.
I don't know how I feel
also
about
apprentice at a
roommates.
taxidermy
Why would you
shop
have
on
a
the days I
stranger
don't have
in your...
class. Hope that's not weird. It's always been a fun hobby of mine. Anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. Have a great day, Lunaire.
My first and most obvious reaction after reading the message was to check her profile. She was of medium height, had long, messy blonde hair and green eyes. In her profile picture, I saw her standing with a man and a woman shoulder to shoulder.
You
They
see,
each adorned goofy grins and held up
why
peace
do people have
signs.
roommates? I don't get
Under
it.
the photo, the caption read, "Love my roommates." I smiled to myself and decided to send her a message back.
Whoa!
The sun beat down
The
on
person
us
on the
as we
back is
moved
just
various
watching.
objects to the second floor of our new apartment. It took us a couple days to get everything out of the moving trucks and into our new place.
Nah, come on,
But
be
as soon
honest.
as we
The only
did,
reason
a
you took
wave
her in
of
is 'cause she
relief
bad,
washed
though.
over our sweat
What?
drenched and sore bodies.
Don't lie,
After
that's
a
the
couple
only
more
reason
hours
you
of
took her in.
rearranging, we each grabbed a beer from the fridge and sat on the porch.
Wait, I just saw, hang on.
4 hours of
Little purple llama.
rearranging, we each grabbed a beer from the fridge and sat on the porch. We reminisced about old 90s cartoons and what video games we obsessed over as kids. And as the sun started to set, I truly felt relaxed and confident that things were going to work out. A week later, I started a new
Obviously
job for a
not.
construction company that was owned by a good friend of mine. As I was getting ready, I heard the front door swing open. I walked into the living room to see Lunaire and her friend David sliding in a large box. "What you got there?" I asked. Through a strained grunt, she replied,
I bought a freezer to store some of the animals I'm planning on using in my taxidermy work.
What the hell?
Right.
I was obviously
What, she's gonna
hesitant at first,
taxidermy
as there was no
people.
mention of this happening in
If
the
y'all
first
don't know what taxidermy is, they kill animals and then stuff them. So I have a feeling she's gonna be taxidermy people and he's the victim. That's my guess.
but I eventually
very
accepted
predictable.
and returned to my room to continue getting ready for work. I came home at around 9 p.m. after having a couple of beers with friends and noticed that the freezer was nestled snugly in the lower part of the pantry.
Blood. Ah, I
Hum
just seen
could be heard
blood.
reverberating
Oh,
off
wait,
the
no,
inner
that was the
walls.
light.
I
Thought that was
curious
blood.
to see what was
That was a red
inside,
light.
but didn't want to intrude on Lunaire's business, so I went into my room and changed into more comfortable clothing. After changing, I came back out into the kitchen.
That looks
to
like
make
blood.
A sandwich. I opened the fridge and grabbed what I needed. As I turned around, I stubbed my toe on the edge of the island countertop and let out a
I felt
long,
that-
exasperated
I felt that
grunt.
secondary pain.
Through my frustration, I slammed the fridge door shut and checked my toe to see if there was any bleeding. As I raised my head back up, I was greeted by a shadowy figure. Lunaire was
Oh.
standing in the doorway leading to her room. The darkness behind her almost seemed to envelop her.
Is everything okay?
She said in a
Oh.
deadpan tone. "Yeah, I'm sorry. I just slammed my toe into the corner of the countertop as I was making a sandwich. I hope I didn't wake you,"
It's fine.
she said in the same deflated tone as before. She then turned around
Honestly,
and
check
walked
the
back
freezer,
into the
bro.
darkness of her room. I could tell that
Check
she was
it.
pissed, so I quietly made my sandwich and retreated back
Ooh,
to my
that
room
looked
as
good.
well, only hearing the low hum from the freezer as I closed my door.
Check it, bro.
I had the next day off, so I was able to sleep in a little longer than usual. When I finally emerged from my room, I walked into the kitchen to make breakfast. As I opened the refrigerator, I noticed that the light wasn't turning on and there was a lack of cold air escaping from inside. I turned around and flipped the light switch to confirm my suspicion. Sure enough, the power was out. Damn it, I muttered under my breath. I walked over to Lunaire's room and knocked on her door to tell her about the power outage if she didn't already know, but there was no answer. I then remembered that she had classes that day and probably wasn't home. I walked back to the kitchen and past the pantry. As I did, I slipped on the floor but was
There's a
able to
lock on
catch
it.
myself on the countertop. "What the?" I angrily exclaimed as I looked down at the floor trying to figure out what I had slipped on. It was blood. It
Oh.
had started to leak from the corner of the freezer.
Oh, there is
onto
blood
the
there.
floor. I quickly tried to open the freezer to find out the cause of the viscous liquid, but then I noticed that it had a padlock attached to it.
Listen.
I don't remember seeing that before. I ran out to my car and grabbed my toolbox from the back seat. I approached the freezer and set my tools down on the nearby countertop. I then pulled out a small pair of bolt cutters and snapped through the metal of the padlock. It fell
I'm
to the ground
nervous.
with a large thud. I creaked open the top of the freezer and was greeted with a putrid stench that permeated my nostrils. I quickly pinched my nose and walked away gagging in response. I guess I should have realized that was gonna happen, I muttered to myself in between gags. After gaining my composure, I grabbed some gloves from under the sink and started taking inventory. I could see a couple of dead birds and plastic bags wedged
who does
into the
this for
corners of the
fun?
freezer. I took each bag out and set them in the trash can nearby. That's when I noticed that the blood was coming from the corner of the larger black bag.
That's a person in there.
I decided to open the top of the bag and peer inside. I was greeted by large, milky white eyes, a swollen black tongue surrounded by cracked and bloated lips, and the matted hair of a human head. I swiftly dropped the bag and fell backwards onto the floor. My breathing had ceased to exist, and I grabbed the trash can.
There's so much blood.
And expelled my disgust into it. I then
Expelled
ran out
my
the door,
disgust.
got into my car, and called the police. As I sat in the interrogation room with a blanket over my shoulders, I couldn't help but think about the face I'd seen. It looked so familiar. That's when it finally hit me. I pulled out my phone and looked at Lunaire's profile picture. It was her old
It's the
roommate,
girl.
the one she said was moving to California.
What? Oh.
When the detective entered the room, she started the questioning process, asking me if I started noticing any weird behavioral occurrences around the apartment. Yeah, I stubbed my toe the other day and she creepily stood in the doorway. It seemed like she was pissed, but for some reason I had a strange feeling like she was concerned about something.
Like maybe he opened
That's when I
it?
connected the dots.
She thought...
She didn't come out to the kitchen because she heard me stub my toe.
Oh, she was killing someone in there.
Because she thought I slammed the freezer instead of the fridge. A cold sweat started to form on my forehead as my surroundings became blurred. I could hear a low whine slowly starting to cover up the words of concern from the detective.
Oh.
As my vision started to clear, I could see another officer enter the room and whisper something into her ear as he handed her a piece of paper. "Do you have somewhere you could stay at?" she asked. "I mean, I was planning on staying with my parents. They live about 30 minutes outside of town." "Okay," she paused. "Listen, I don't want to worry you, but we found this picture inside of your apartment." She slid the piece of paper across the table.
Oh
And
no.
I immediately
It's
felt
gonna be like
someone
you're next or
kicked me in the
something.
chest. The head of Lunaire's roommate sat on the chair. In the background,
Love
scrawled
my
on the wall
roommates,
in blood,
all of them.
read, "Love my roommates. All of them."
What the hell? Good twist in there. She was a murderer. Very predictable though. Kind of a basic storyline, but I liked it. I'd give it a 5 out of 10. Oh, this is not a good start with these stories so far. Hopefully the next one's better.
This video is
Bro,
sponsored by
all these
Skillshare.
sponsors. The woman. The woman.
It was a
That's the name of this one.
snowy night. I heard the chilling cry of a bobcat as I arrived home from my parents' house, where we had just had Thanksgiving dinner in northern Michigan. Exhausted, I had finally made it to my bed when my pregnant girlfriend asked for nacho cheese munchies. Reluctantly, I laced up my boots and went to my car. Due to the cold, it took me a while to start the car, which only made me more irritated. But eventually
mad?
I got it started, and I arrived at
He
the
went all the way to the
convenience store
shop for his
to retrieve
girlfriend.
my
Shout out to him.
girlfriend's mandated snacks. As I left the store, walking back
Whoa.
towards my car, I saw a shadow of movement out of the corner of
We're
my
starting
eye.
already.
What looked like a person stood near the dumpster, just out of the light. I stepped towards the
nah.
figure, and she looked at me with a giant sinister smile.
That is
Her
the woman.
face was so weathered, it looked like she had cracks all over her face. She was crouched down and appeared to be chewing on something. I looked to see what she was chewing on.
This is what the app do. It ain't only fast food. Switch.
To my surprise, it was a severed arm,
Oh.
old, as if it had been rotting for weeks. I saw her glance at something
There's a ring
in
on
her
it.
pocket, I could see the outline of what looked like a pocket knife. As soon as I looked back up, she quickly charged me.
Kick her in.
Pushed her
Ooh.
away and then ran back to the convenience store. I
gonna say,
burst
kick
through
her
the
in.
door and frantically yelled towards the cashier.
Llama lollies,
Police
look at
as I
that.
turned to lock it. He asked me, "What's going on?" I scowled at him and said, "Please, just call the cops." I looked back outside and saw the woman had moved across the street and was still scrutinizing me as she maintained her malevolent grin. "Look, there's
Scary.
a girl out there who's trying to kill me." Looking over me, he replied, "I don't see anyone out there, sir."
Oh, he's saying
Those
stuff.
words shook
Schizophrenic.
me, even to this day. When the police reached the gas station, they began looking around for the woman while one of the officers asked me what had happened, and I told him the details of the encounter. One of the officers came back and said he couldn't find anything. I then took them back to where I first noticed her. We
There's
spent
gonna
a
be
few
no blood
minutes
watch.
intently searching, but there was no proof she was ever even there. The officer cocked his head and looked
doesn't
at
believe
me
him.
as if I was deranged and asked me in a judgmental tone, "Are you feeling okay?" I was about to defend myself, and then I started to think. I am tired, and I have had a couple of drinks, so I just
How
told
do you
them,
deny that if you've
"Yes, sir.
seen it?
Sorry for bothering you. I hope you have a nice night." And then I drove home.
You literally
I got
seen it.
home at around 4 o'clock in the morning. My girlfriend greeted me with an angered but concerning tone of voice. She asked me,
Where were you? Are you okay?
so I told her everything that happened. Of course, she didn't believe me.
Wow.
I couldn't get to sleep that night.
All that
I
wait for
sat
her
in my bed
snacks just for her to
questioning my
not believe.
sanity, wondering if it was all even real. Am I crazy? Maybe I'm just tired. But no, that can't be it. I saw it. But if I saw it, why was there no proof? Where did the arm go? Where did she go? Before I knew it,
Bro, I'm
it was 7
invested.
in the morning, and I had to go to work. I threw on my jacket as I was about to head to the construction site, and I put my hand in my pocket and noticed that there was a hole in it. It wasn't there the other day. I thought, what if she
The
caught
lady?
my jacket as I ran? Which further proves my suspicion that she was real. I couldn't believe it. My mind completely went wild until my girlfriend kissed me goodbye. I told my friends at work what had happened, and they didn't believe me either.
Yeah, of course
I
they
made
might.
jokes about it the entire day, but I had my bowling tournament that day, so that gave me something to look forward to. I got home and hung my vest and jacket up and rapidly put on my bowling shoes and got my bowling ball. My girlfriend looked at me with a pleasant smile and said,
When will you be back?
"Probably around 11.
Don't be long.
Bro, the lady's
I
gonna...
won't. Don't worry.
That woman's gonna show up.
At around
While he's
10:30, the tournament had finally finished, and we had won. I was so
Oosh,
thrilled I
nice.
had forgotten about the woman. As we were leaving, I noticed something
Oh,
at the other
he
end
sees
of the
her.
parking lot. It was that
Ah,
psychotic woman.
why does she got two
We stared at
shadows?
each other
Pick
for
one.
What felt like an eternity. She slowly
can only have
started
one
moving
shadow.
towards me while waving her knife in the air and making cuts. I quickly jumped into my car and turned it on. As I looked up, I saw she was standing in front of me.
Why does she
staring
torment
at
this
me.
guy?
She
She
slowly
a ghost?
walked over to my window, and she said in a quiet, deep, and scratchy voice,
Little pig, let me in.
I was
What
frozen
the
in
hell?
fear, but I snapped back to reality when she banged on the roof of my car, screaming. I quickly slammed my foot on the accelerator and didn't let off it until I
Shoulda
couldn't
hit
see her
her.
anymore. When I arrived home, I told my girlfriend what had happened. Like last time, she didn't believe me.
Bro,
I really thought I was insane, but I tried to forget about it and get some sleep. Later that night, I woke up and saw her in my room.
how?
Said was "let me in," over and over. As she
You're
got
already
closer.
in.
She then started shouting,
Let me in, let me in, let me in! Let me in!
Oh, he's seen this.
Come on, Paul. Stop being difficult.
I was wondering how
Oh,
my girlfriend
no.
hadn't heard this going on.
Whoops.
The woman was right next to me and held up a knife to me. That's when I fainted. I woke startled in my room, dripping with sweat.
What the hell? I'm so
remembered
confused.
I don't have a girlfriend,
Huh?
a house,
What?
or a family.
What is...
Come on, Paul. It's time for your morning meds. Let me in.
Whoa! 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. That twist was unreal. That was the best one we watched today. So all of that was just him paranoid. None of it was real. Bro, I got the chills when he's like, I didn't even realize how, he's like, bro, I got the chills when he's like, and then I remembered I don't have a girlfriend. What? So the lady that was following him throughout his dream that whole time is the lady that's at, the psych ward that keeps trying to give him his pills. But we can see here that he's closed her off because he doesn't want it. Look at
Dripping
this.
with sweat. Then I remembered I don't have a girlfriend.
That is
nor a
creepy.
house or a family.
He's just a little kid there.
Come on, Paul. It's time for your morning meds. Let me in.
Wow. Come on. Come on. That was amazing. Alright, well lads, that was part 4 of reacting to scary videos. Go down into the description, check out Llama Arts, that was amazing. Also go down and join the Discord, send me some videos down there. Make sure to come back for part 5. Part 5 will be out. Part 5 won't take as long to come out, I promise. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications while you're at it, and enjoy your day, lads.
I don't really fuck with your vibe. Lately I've been thinking about quitting and I've tried. I can't stop till my mom's by the tide.